computer.
All right, I think we're on. It's Tuesday, November 13th, about 7:10 PM. I'd like to open the business meeting for the Georgetown Zoning Board of Appeals. The Board of Appeals will conduct this meeting according to rules laid out in Chapter 40A of the General Laws of the Commonwealth of Massachusetts, Robert's Rules of Orders, and its own particular set of rules entitled Rules of Procedure, a copy of which is on file with the town clerk. Another copy is available from the clerk at this meeting. And this meeting is being tape recorded for the purposes of taking minutes. Jeff Moore will be the acting chair tonight because our normal chair, Sean Dean, is absent today on travel. The first order of business is finance, so Patty, you want to take it away?
Yep, I think I might have put the WB Mason warrant in front.
Got it.
On mine, did I do that?
I got it in front of mine.
That was the last minute wrist rest for this. The wrist rest and keyboard rest I have are so old, it's foam and it's all, so I got the ones with the beads in them, so now I can, so it was that and then something minor, what was it? This one here. Oh, I needed a battery
Batteries.
for something in the office and then,
Rubber
yeah,
band.
yeah,
Need a
the
motion to
fingers I
pay
use.
WB motion 4361.
Second.
Go, yeah, sign, pass that around. So
Is
Sean,
that
Sean
account number
okayed that.
250-55700, sub-account 542000,
Or you can just say revolving.
revolving account, thank you. All right, any discussion on that? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed, none?
Who seconded it?
I did.
Paul.
Paul did.
Okay, do I hear a motion to approve the business and hearing minutes of October 9th,
Thank you, Hal.
2018?
So moved?
And
Second.
who was, everybody present for that? I think they were, right?
I was.
Was I?
Yeah, you were.
Dave
We're back.
Kapnis can't vote. Everybody else
Oh,
can.
Dave,
Okay.
okay, thank you.
And
Okay, is there any discussion on the minutes? No? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, none, that carries 4-0. One extension, oh, sorry, one,
One
abstention,
abstention.
sorry.
no, and I skipped over. And then I have the postage meter just at the bottom because this revolves. So FY19, we have two. That starts July 1st, so there's two abutters lists, and the next one that's coming in is gonna be, it's a really large abutters list, that's for 51 West Main, that's now gonna come in for January instead of December. Then the revolving account from last time, tonight's WB Mason, which I have to plug in, and the next deposit for, also for that 51 West Main, is gonna be a $1,600 deposit. The same for the Central Street. Central Street one's coming in, that'll be around that same amount. So, we'll add some revolving. And then I just need a, motion to approve the town report. I emailed out to the board.
Yep, nice job on this, Patty.
So moved.
So
Thank
that,
you, Gina, is there a second?
Second.
Dave? Give you guys a chance to look over that. Is there any comments on this discussion? None?
it's basically the two, with all the continuances for a year for both of them.
Wow.
It's still going.
Yeah. See what you missed, Gina?
I know, right?
Can you remind me when people receive a special permit to do construction, what the time period is and how that's tracked?
So, because it's a special permit, the clock doesn't start on the 90 days to file a decision, to make a decision until the hearing closes.
Sorry,
So-
it's a different question.
Okay.
I'm thinking of, the Oregon company, for example.
Okay.
We approved that. And
Yeah.
I just remember sometimes we hear, if you don't commence work by, I forgot the time period.
3 years now.
3 years.
It's
Who
been
tracks
changed from
that?
2 years to 3 years. Yeah, he came in. He came in
No,
to see.
I'm asking who's tracking it and who's making sure whatever we've approved hasn't gone beyond this, whatever that time period is.
He would, when he came in for the building permit, I would sign off on the back of the permit of the department head, but that's me.
It's 2 years.
Times, but it's actually 3 years now.
3 now
Yeah.
here?
It's
in town?
3 years. So when they come in for
So
the
Les
building
would,
permit,
yeah.
that's the one who tracks it.
Yeah, so
and
like-
denies the building permit request based on the time elapsed.
He would have to look at the fact that they received the special permit, that would be required as part of the
Right.
permit now.
I
How they
see.
wanna go, so they gotta, and he'll go back and see when that would, to get the file to see when it was granted.
So
I
that's,
see,
and that's,
okay.
Right,
and that's
then
part
they'd
of
have
the
to-
reason.
And then the construction permit only
Yeah.
lasts so long too. before they
Right,
can-
right, so I was just wondering how
Well,
that
start
was
that.
reviewed, that's all.
So what happens in the office is, and that's why we have them file the building application
How long is
first.
it?
Yeah,
So he gets that application, and when he writes a
I want
denial
some
letter,
years, year and a half.
that goes in a separate
I'm just
file
curious,
behind
I
the
don't go
cube.
by there.
And so if someone comes in, it's there, so he remembers to look at
Okay.
that. So it goes with a building permit
This is a building
application with
permit, okay.
denials,
okay,
so.
got it.
And I throw it on my calendar to make sure it's
I'm just curious.
been recorded, and if
Yep.
they haven't recorded it, if I have time, I call them and say, hello.
And who changed it to 3 years? The town did or
State.
the state? Okay. Alright,
Does that answer it?
pardon me?
All right,
Yeah,
all those
yeah,
in favor of approving the annual report?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed, none? That carries. And I jumped ahead of you, Patty, sorry.
Yeah,
about-
no, I know, we're jumping in between. Correspondence, I have an A&R for land, it says off National Ave, 14-7. The planning board split that lot. The next one is as a planning board decision for Healthy Farms approval. This came from the town administrator, and I emailed it out when I got it. I don't remember the date. It was the beginning of, middle of last month, maybe. I don't know if your copies came out dark because it's but there's a, on the bottom, if you look in the email, if you can't see it on the sheet, there's a guide that you can click on if you didn't wanna go to this. It's a free course. It's Tuesday, November 27th, which is, close to Thanksgiving. But that's in your email, and there's also, when you click on that link, there's a whole guide that opens up and probably goes over some of it. So that's just for your, if you wanna go, I think you can just call them. Yep.
The one that Mike sent out as well,
Yes,
right?
the one Mike, I don't know if I got it, and I don't know if he sent it to, sometimes he'll copy you, or,
Mhm.
and under other, because I had the packets, did I put two of them in here? Okay. It's a denial letter for 51 West Main Street. So this is, she was gonna file it tomorrow, the attorney, but she's coming in either the 19th or the 27th, we're not sure yet. So this is for 7 townhouses and this is Settlers Antiques. So the existing building, they're gonna do an addition on the back and then put 7 townhouses that are attached together, but 1, 2, 3, like lined up in a line on the back of the lot. And there's multiple things they need that Les listed there. So that looks like it'll be on with Mello for January 8th.
Okay.
And I do not have the new application for this today. I thought I might, but I don't. So there's no new application. So
The Mellow application for the existing site, they gotta do a, is that gonna be they have to enclose the,
right now they have to,
they're gonna
yeah,
file to enclose the facility?
They're
over-
speaking with the building inspector on if they can, because they're running out of time to
Right.
just enclose what's there, so I think he's working on that.
That hasn't been determined yet, whether, okay, all right, so he's working on that.
Yeah,
So the other one would be for a different site, that's a totally different
Right.
application altogether.
yeah, so they may,
All right.
I don't know what'll happen for the 8th, they could withdraw, they could do
Right.
multiple things and refile something, I don't know. But she's got, it's the same attorney for this one,
Right,
Nancy McCann.
got it.
They need to get
Attorney
it in
for which one?
compliance.
For this
Existing
one as for
location.
Mello.
What, triple
Right,
quality
well,
development?
Yeah, she's the attorney for.
Because that other one's
Huh.
gonna take 2 years.
Who knows?
Yeah.
All right,
So there's, and the only other thing is, there's about 4 applications out there, they're just in different stages of, one other one was coming in off Central Street, but the plans were not good and the septic, this thing's wrong.
Does that mean we have Christmas month
So-
off?
I didn't, the December 4th deadline for an application is passed,
Okay.
so.
We should probably make something up, Paul.
You know me.
So,
Love to
the
be
only thing
here.
I can think of happening before now and there is budget. And usually budget, he's usually due like the week of Christmas, or maybe he'll do it the week before, but
Well, we're-
I don't know, I don't. I
we're
haven't
posted
heard
for a
anything.
meeting, so why don't, I'll wait till, we can wait till
Wait and
Sean,
see.
Sean gets back, and then
Yeah.
we'll wait and see, and
Okay.
and pending any
Or just have a
necessity to meet,
business
we'll
meeting.
cancel with that at the time, so people don't.
Okay,
Does that sound reasonable?
Works.
I have the business meeting
Unless
posted
there's a
anyway,
reason why we get, yeah,
it's already posted.
and then Sean can make that determination. The only other item that's not on here that, I just wanna reiterate under old business would be the communications. So,
Oh,
we're
yeah,
gonna,
yeah.
go ahead and start forwarding any notices to, well, it's Kip, right?
Yeah,
So he handles the Georgetown Facebook page, so
Yeah, I have a
anything you want
reminder in my
posted, he will
calendar.
post it verbatim on that sheet. So that's something you haven't started doing that yet.
no, for this wasn't a big,
Right, so this is good
So
timing, because we're
I-
coming to the end of the year, and so there
Yeah.
really won't be anything to post until next year. but-
so I'll do, probably one for Mello, just,
I would do whatever you post for a
Whatever.
meeting, so,
well, I could send him the agenda and so I post the agenda and the public hearing notices.
perfect. So that way it
Both.
goes out now, not just to the site, but it'll go out to the Facebook page and the Georgetown Facebook page. So anybody who wants to follow the Georgetown page, Kip will have it there, and it's no back and forth and all that, but it gives them the opportunity to see what's coming up for hearings in a broader audience than just the newspaper or going physically to our website to see what's going on. So,
Yeah, I put it on my calendar for
so we'll start with
everyone.
that and see how it goes. All right. Anybody have anything else?
Is everybody's, good for January 8th? Gina's like, oh, no. It's like 2
I don't know what
months
you're
away
doing
from
tomorrow.
now. We have
Fine,
65 days
week
to open,
after.
so it's not for me. It's on my radar.
So unless there's anything else, I'll hear a motion to close the business meeting. And we will reopen at 7:30 for tonight's hearing. So,
So moved?
thank you, Paul.
Second.
Seconded by Gina. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, none. The business meeting is closed. All right, we're back on.
Yeah.
So it's about 7:35 on November 13th, and I'd like to open a public hearing for 34 Pillsbury Lane. So the first thing I'd like to do is introduce the board. So we have Sharon Freeman and Gina Tebow, Paul Schillen, Dave Kapnis are all regular members tonight. Jeff Moore, I'm the acting chair. And
Thank you.
you met our assistant Patty Patari. Okay, so all 5 members will be voting on the hearing tonight.
Nice to meet you.
So if you'd like to just introduce yourself and give us an overview of what you're requesting tonight, and then we'll go from there and ask questions from the board, and just let us know.
So,
who you're-
my name's Eric Buxton. I've been in town for 15 years now. No, actually more, 16 years now. So we're over. We moved into the Pillsbury Lane project when it was extended to Dead End Street there, on the second phase. So we're looking to put in a pool in the backyard, and unfortunately, with spacing requirements, we need a special permit to try to get a 50%. We don't need all the 50%, but that's what it calls for, the 50% reduction in one of the setbacks on our side border. It would be on the right with the Caleb's. If you're looking at the house straight on, it's on the right side. So right now, we're, in order to get off of, away from the septic system and the septic tank, pushing us 2 feet into that variance. So we're 18 or 17. I think we might have moved it an extra foot just to stay away from the septic, the leach field.
Mhm.
An extra foot just in case the as-built aren't exactly where they say they are.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So we were advised, better safe than sorry.
So Eric, I'm gonna ask you to pause for just a second, 'cause
Sure.
I've got to read the legal ad, so Paul's gonna take care of reading that into the record for us, so.
Okay, public hearing
Thanks,
notice for 34 Pillsbury Lane on November 13th, 2018. An application has been made by Eric and Maureen Buxton of 34 Pillsbury Lane, Georgetown, Mass. in the RB district and identified on Assessor's Map 11, Lot 23X. The applicant requests a special permit under Mass General Law, Chapter 40A, Section 9, and the Georgetown zoning bylaws, Chapter 165, Sections 9, 10, 10.1, 74-79, to place an in-ground pool 50% closer to the side lot line than allowed in the RB zone. Chapter 165, Section 10-1 allows, 10-1 allows side and rear setback reductions by 50% for one accessory structure. That's enough, right? Yeah, I don't have to,
Copy of the application.
copy of
No,
the,
yeah,
yeah.
keep going.
We don't need, read the whole thing?
Yep.
The hearing upon this application will be held at the Georgetown Memorial Town Hall, 3rd floor, meeting room on Tuesday, November 13th, 2018 at 7:30 PM, at which time you may appear either in person or by agent or by attorney and present any reasons which you may have for the granting or denying of this petition. The applicant is expected to be present. A copy of the application may be inspected at the Georgetown Zoning Board of Appeals office Monday through Thursday. Phone number 978-352-5742.
Awesome, thank you, Paul. All right, so sorry to interrupt you.
No, that's fine.
You just, the new correspondence and that's.
Yeah, so, I have that for a moment. So, I interrupted you, but you are, I think, 2 feet closer of the
Yeah, 17.1, so it's actually 2.9.
2.99.
It was, we probably could go 18, but it was, like I said, we wanted to take one extra foot away. It's only 20 to the leach field, but we went 21.
Yeah, the requirement is 20, and you kind of give
Yeah.
yourself a little bit bigger.
A little bit of a buffer, that's all.
And you're set beyond the front of the house, which is what this piece of the bylaw also requires, is you can't have the accessory structure closer. It has to be behind the front face of the house by a certain percent. But anyway, they're in the backyard, so they're not coming in, that's not coming into play. It has to be 8 feet behind the front plane of the principal building. They don't want these in the front yard, basically, so. Why don't I read this correspondence in, and then if there's any other questions from the board, we can go from there. There's only one correspondence, is that right, Patty?
Yes.
So dated September 24th, 2018, to the Georgetown Zoning Board of Appeals. Dear Chairman Moore, we are writing in regards to the enclosed notice relative to the application of Eric Maureen Buxton of 34 Pillsbury Lane, Georgetown, Mass., requesting a special permit under Mass General Law, Chapter 40A, and the Georgetown zoning bylaws to install an in-ground pool. As neighbors of this property, please accept this letter as our written support for this, of this request. We respectfully request that this communication be read and entered into the record at the public hearing on this matter to be held at the zoning board meeting on November 13th, 2018. Thank you for your attention. Tricia and Michael Muller, 34 Pillsbury Lane in Georgetown. All right. 37.
37.
Yeah, we're at
Street.
34.
37, sorry. All right, are there any other questions from the board?
None from me.
Well, it looks like you did your homework, making sure you got a good buffer from the septic.
Yeah, I didn't wanna get that too close to it. I used to put them in a long time ago, so.
You did it, so it's a good job.
Do you have is this a final pool design, or is that approximate?
No, I don't have it, the copy of it, but that's, we actually downsized it to even get it, we wanted it originally bigger, but then it
Oh, okay.
So we did when we moved to the second time around, do I have it in here?
You came in a couple times with Les.
Yeah, originally we were going with the bigger one and then it was really no way to, so we tried downsizing it and moving it, angling it.
Well,
And,
as long as you're meeting the dimensional setbacks, which is what your plan is really delineating, it's delineating those setbacks. So if there's minor changes to the curvature and all that kind of stuff, it's not gonna be relevant to your decision because you're noting certain setbacks to the house and to this, you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So as long as your setbacks are being met,
Yeah, we're not
you know,
encroaching on the end.
I didn't know if this shape was your final.
No, it
you
was
know,
the final. We
scale.
actually sent it to the.
Okay, so you know
We sent
exactly.
a copy of it with the dimensions to the guy putting it on
Yeah,
the
okay,
plan,
good.
so we could make sure it was as accurate as possible.
Why did you make it smaller? What is that?
Because the width was actually changing a little bit, the diameter of the two circles for the front and back, which changed the bump out a little bit. We were trying to bring the bump, it's that one little bump out there on the shape that was pushing us into the, we were trying to get it so we could twist it around the, elbow it around the leach field, so we wouldn't even need to ask for the permit, but we just couldn't get it to move.
And so the
Oh,
tree-
I see what you mean. Bring it
Yeah,
as
we
a
were.
corner, yeah,
we
yeah,
couldn't-
yeah.
But it just wasn't,
Didn't have quite enough wiggle.
You jam a piece of puzzle in there.
yeah.
But the truth is, if you're requesting the permit, whether it's this size or a little bit bigger, it's essentially the same because it's still, right?
Well, it's gotta be to the plan, so.
I
we're-
understand that, but it would still be the same process.
Right, if it
Right,
was
right,
Yes.
yes.
like
Be the same
17 feet
request.
versus 15 feet
Yeah,
or
once we went
something.
over, we went over.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
And you still opted to go with the smaller
Yeah, it was
size.
fine. It's,
Okay.
it's ample size for.
Okay. That's really all I was-
I didn't. I mean, we didn't want to go too close to the neighbors too. They were the Caleb's there. They were very nice.
Mhm.
So, and we. So,
So just a note that, under the bylaw, if you wanted to put, a lot of people like pool sheds and so storage facility or something in your pool, which you could do.
Mhm.
But it would need to comply. In other words, you can only have one non-conforming under this bylaw, so your pool is now non-conforming. So if you
non-conforming, okay.
plan to put a storage shed or something, I don't know. Just keep in mind that you can only have one variance of this type
Okay.
per lot, so an ex.
No variance.
Sorry, well, you can only
Special permit.
vary from the, yeah, it's a special permit, but you can only have one, section 165-10-1 per lot, so anything else you do,
yeah.
you know, just gonna have to comply. And what came to mind was like a pool storage shed or something.
Was it 10 by 12 you can still do?
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah,
you
it
can.
just has to
And you
stay within
would,
the setback.
yeah, and you would be able to set that within, using the same process normally, but your pool is already non-compliant, so you can't come in
So I
and
can't
ask.
go with another.
Yeah,
permit,
you can't, yeah, so
Double dip on the
you got a
permits.
pretty good sized lot there, so, it's, you know, if that's something you ever wanna do, I'm sure you could figure out where to put it without. But anyway, that's just something that came to mind. Anything else? Any other comments?
Just to be clear, they can put a pool house in, they just can't put it in the setback.
Well, you can put a pool house in, but they can put
Well-
a storage facility in. Yeah, they just can't, they can't set anything else inside the 20-foot buffer using this process, because they've already done it. They've already used this process for the pool. You can't have, no more than one detached accessory building or pool with reduced setbacks
Oh,
permitted on
detached
each
accessory
lot.
building, so they do need to stay within that, like 10 by 12 or whatever. And it can't be a
So
permanent
it's,
by-
structure.
so it's the,
10
so
by
it's the-
12 is not
so it's the
considered
s-
required a permit.
Okay.
Yeah.
So if it was bigger.
So it's
it'd
the
be-
side, it's actually 20, so he can go 10 feet, he could've went 10 feet closer.
So he
Well,
just
I'm
gotta-
overcomplicating your request
We really are.
by
because
making a point. My point
No, I
is,
just wondered if you could
could've
build a
went
pool
10.
house.
point
or
number
not.
E, no
He's
more
got
than
plenty-
one
you got
detached
plenty of room.
accessory building or pool.
Yeah,
Someone
yeah.
will
So,
come out of there.
but that's not
You get
considered
what
an
I'm saying,
accessory
right?
structure? Like, if it was a 20 by 20,
Then
foundation.
it can't be within, it's
it
gotta be
just
at
can't
least
be in the
20 feet.
setback.
Yeah, I have to-
Okay,
That's all.
that's fine.
Right.
Yeah.
Cause you gotta have a pool house. That's all I'm
Cabana.
saying.
You gotta have
But
the
you can't have a
cabana.
you can't have anything with a residential habitation
Pool
either,
shed.
so.
Yeah, it's a
It's a
walkout
shed,
basement in
storage
the
shed,
back,
you
so
can-
the deck's gonna, I mean,
There you
ha-
go.
it's gonna walk.
That'd be nice.
So it's
Mark my
already there.
words.
It'll
Pool
probably
house.
come, yeah, I know.
They're actually better than the pools.
Um,
Yeah, they are.
any other comments?
Looks like it's already fenced in.
Anybody ready to make a motion?
Yes, and-
Dave?
For
I move the
pool
board
houses.
finds that the special permit application meets the requirements of 165-79 A through D, being the application is desirable to the public convenience or welfare, will not overload any public water or other municipal services so as to unduly subject any area to hazards affecting health, safety, or the general welfare, will not impair the integrity or character of the district or adjoining districts, and will not cause an excess of that particular use which could be detrimental to the character of the neighborhood. I further move to grant a special permit to Eric and Maureen Buxton of 34 Pillsbury Lane in the RB District, map 11, lot 23X, to construct an in-ground pool closer to the side lot line at 17.1 foot, where 20 feet is allowed pursuant to Georgetown zoning bylaws. Chapter 165, sections 9, 10.1, 74, and 79. Specifically, Chapter 16510, that allows setback reductions by 50% for accessory buildings and pools, and Mass General Law, Chapter 40A, Section 9.
What's that? Anybody want to second that?
Second.
Thank you, Paul. Any discussion? No? I'll read the rest of this later, so we'll go ahead and take a roll call vote on it. Sharon?
Yes.
Gina?
Yes.
Paul?
Yes.
Dave?
Aye.
And the chairman votes yes. So you have your special permit?
Awesome. Thank you very much.
5-0. 5 in favor, 4 against. And let me just read that the zoning board has 14 days to file a decision. Any appeal of this decision shall be made pursuant to Mass General Law, Chapter 40A, Section 17, within 20 days after the date of notice if the decision was filed with the town clerk. And an applicant may file this decision before, an applicant may file this decision before the 20 days, but does so at their own risk. So you'll receive a written decision from the clerk who has 14 days to get that
Okay.
filed. The appeal period extends 20 days beyond that. So anything you do between that and the appeal period is at your own risk, should someone appeal. And I'll read the section about lapse of a permit, per Mass General Law 48, Section 9. Special permits granted shall lapse within a specified period of time not more than 3 years, which shall not include such time required to pursue or await the determination of an appeal, referred to in Section 17, which I just read. If a substantial use thereof is not sooner commenced except for good cause, or in the case of permit for construction, if construction has not begun by such date except for good cause. And if you wanna know what that means, you can hire an attorney and they'll figure it all out. But basically, you wanna get rolling within 3 years.
Yeah,
Okay,
that's
unless
fine.
there's good reason why you didn't or you
No, I
couldn't.
think we're
Okay.
first on the list for the spring.
Yeah, so there you go.
That's exciting.
And that's it, so good luck, appreciate you coming in.
So when
Very
they,
good project.
the decision will probably be done tomorrow, the next day, have it signed, and I'll let you know when it's ready, and I'll give you registry instructions on what to do,
Okay, great.
okay?
All right,
Thank you.
so do I have a motion to adjourn the hearing?
So moved.
Thank you, Dave. Second?
Aye.
Thank you, Paul. All those in favor?
Aye.
And the hearing is adjourned. Thank you.
Yeah.